Hey, good evening. This is Pastor Lisa here for our jam time tonight. And a little welcome going out tonight. We're focusing on welcome, so we want to welcome you all here tonight. And she wants to wave and welcome, say hey, give a nice warm greeting to you all. Tonight, as we think about welcome, I'd like to share a teaching from Jesus when he was sending the disciples out. In Matthew 10:40 through 42, he says, anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me, which is God. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, then truly I tell you, that person will not lose their reward. So we're going to spend a few minutes kind of learning about what that means. So as we think about welcome, Jesus was the first person, or first one to really, I think, give us words that we know on about welcoming one another. Although I'm sure throughout time that was important because it was always important to God and to God's people. And so we think about a welcome, we think about welcome wagon. And I've made a little welcome wagon, or perhaps this is just a wagon. Really, a welcome wagon is any kind of a box or thing that lets people know that they're welcome. So here's my welcome bag. And in it, I'd like to share a few things. We have some Band-Aids. How do they help us to know that we're welcome? Well, Jesus said, whoever helps one of these children, one of the least of these of mine, then you're helping me. So whether we give a cup of cold water, or whether we give a Band-Aid to somebody who needs some healing or needs some help, then we're welcoming someone. And I'm going to go ahead and get out my water, because that is what Jesus said, even a cup of water, a bottle of water. So anytime you help someone, you're offering them welcome. Also in my welcome bag, I found a heart. It reminds us that when we share our love and when we're kind and nice to people, we're welcoming them. We are sharing Jesus' welcome with them. A smiley. Even when we smile and just have a nice, just a nice demeanor about us, kind of looking friendly, that is a way to welcome people and to share Jesus' welcome. And the last thing in my bag that I have are cupcakes. Because there was a time in which if you moved into a new neighborhood, into a new house somewhere, the other neighbors would bring around cupcakes to say, welcome to our neighborhood. We're glad you moved here. All kinds of ways that we can welcome one another. So even though a welcome wagon isn't really a wagon, it did start that way with the Conestoga wagons in this country, although welcomes were given so many ways before the Conestoga wagons. But they would give food and drink to people who were going out west, who needed some. So that's kind of where we got the wagon part, because God has always been welcoming people all over in different ways. So today I'd like to share our science with wagon. We're going to learn about wagon. So as we have this wagon here, it's Newton's first law of motion states that an object, this is our wagon, tends to stay at rest unless it's acted on by an outside force. Meaning, I move it. So I hit it, that's an outside force, and it moves. And it tends then to stay in motion unless acted on by an outside force. So a force is a push or a pull. So if I push it, it moves until this friction stopped it. Inertia is any resistance to an object that will change that motion, that state of motion. So this inertia is friction. So we're going to take our wagon and we're going to put some blocks on it. So I want you to guess when this wagon stops because there's a barrier here, which way are the bricks going to fall? Are they going to go this way? Or are they going to go this way? Or are they going to just stay right on the wagon? Well, let's see. Oh, they went forward because they were in motion going forward, so that motion, they're going to want to keep going forward. Now, if we have our wagon and it's just sitting still, and we go real fast forward, then it's kind of maybe then they go, whoops, oh, that didn't work out. Oh, then I pulled it back. If we have it and like we're taking off really fast, they go back because they want to stay still where they're staying, and this moves forward. Now I want to do one other thing to see. So remember, this is the resistance. I'm going to put this person on here. Well, we'll just have her laying there. Let's see what happens. She's going forward. Boom! Oh, there. See, so she slid forward. And the faster she goes, of course, the faster her hair's sticking. Her hair is inertia. It's friction. Now let's try if we take her hair off. See what happens. Oh, he flies off. See, her hair was holding her on. Now no hair, no friction, no inertia, and she just flies forward. Kind of, this is like a car, and this is us, and she has no seatbelt on. Kind of reminds us of why we wear seatbelts, because that force takes us forward. Well, enough about that, but I hope you learned something about science and wagons and Newton's law of motion. But as we think about inertia, that inertia is Jesus is like our inertia. He's that resistance that he helps us to in that law stay in motion. But Jesus is like our inertia. You know, if we're going the wrong way, he stops us and helps us to go another way. Or if we have a barrier that there's a barrier, that Jesus helps us to keep moving forward. He's also that motion in our lives to keep us going forward, and he also is that resistance to when we don't want to welcome somebody, that he's pushing us forward to help us. Then when we reach that inertia, that he's helping us to go forward, to keep moving on to welcoming people. Actually, he's like the motion in our lives, actually, more than motion than the inertia. So this week we want to remember to share Jesus' welcome. And so we look at, I made a welcome, and you can make your own, a welcome mat to share with somebody. You can even decorate it, and I have some SpongeBob stickers. You can put some maybe, or you can draw some really cool pictures on your welcome mat. And then you can share your welcome mat with somebody that you know just maybe isn't feeling so good, or feeling a little down, or maybe just needs a little something, and you can share your welcome mat with them. Our Bible verse is Matthew 10, verse 40. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. So anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Let us pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for being my welcome wagon. Help me to share your welcome with others. Amen. Well, thanks. Hope you had fun tonight, and look forward to next week.